Hey, good morning, lovers. So lovely to be with you. I'm having my first cup of tea of the day. Well, I mean, I had my hot water and lemon when I first woke up, but actual caffeine, our first of the day. I'm with you much earlier than usual today. I'm about to go to Pilates, and I wanted to hang out with you before I went, and then I've got quite a busy day. So I thought if I had my cuppa with you before I went out and then had my busy day, I wouldn't miss out. Otherwise, you know what happens. The day carries away. Anywho, as you're joining, say hi. I'd love to know who's joining me for a cup of tea. Have you got a cup of tea on the go? Have you got coffee maybe? Are you still having your breakfast? It's very early. Hi, Kate. Hi, darling. Have you got a cup of tea on the go maybe? Usually, historically, probably have it's a bit early for coffee for me, but I'd usually maybe be edging towards having my first coffee of the day or my only coffee of the day. I don't drink coffee anymore. I do actually really rather miss it, but since having COVID, I can't drink it anymore. It smells and tastes absolutely vile to me now, as does red wine and as do many other things. It's the oddest thing, even healthy things. So, oh, yay, Kelly Ann's here and she's just making a cuppa. Brilliant, darling. How I wish we were all sat in a room together having a cup of tea. Wouldn't that be so nice? Hi, Karen. You'd be there too. We'd all be there together having a cup of tea. This is why I need to get my arse into gear and pull another retreat together. Um, it will happen. I feel like I've been saying it for months and I've had a few false starts through pandemic. I really do want to get us all together again. It's so lovely. I love being on retreat and everyone kind of waking up bleary-eyed and having their first cup of tea together and having breakfast together and doing an early morning yoga session together. Oh my God, it's divine. So yeah, I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to be beautiful and perfect. It'll be divinely timed when it happens. Watch this space. Uh, who's that? Karen. You're on a third coffee? Karen, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing, woman? I would be bouncing off the walls if I ever had a third coffee ever. Like I really, two coffees and that would be awful for me. Anywho, so nice to be with you ladies. And I was just kind of feeling into what I wanted to chat about today. And there's no denying, of course, I have to share that my next 5-day Meet Your Soulmate challenge is coming up. So, it's my community public announcement is that the challenge starts next week. And I'm so excited about it. I absolutely love running the challenge. It's going to be my sixth one. I think everyone that I know is live here. Not everyone said hello. If you haven't said hi, say hi. And if you're on replay, by the way, just type in #replay so I know who's been watching. But I'm pretty sure, yes, everybody who I know who is here live has done my 5-day challenge. I'm about to run the sixth one next week. We start on Monday. I do a little pre-start live on Sunday night, but the actual official challenge runs Monday to Friday next week. And, we've really perfected it now. It's up to the gods what the technology behind the scenes does. We nearly always, I'm going to touch some wood, we nearly always have some tech challenges, but we're super organized and we usually handle them very well. But this time it's going to run smoothly. It'll be beautiful because it's a completely online event. So no matter where in the world you are, no matter what time zone you are, no matter what your schedule is, you can take part in the 5-day challenge. That's the cool thing about it. And I've designed it in such a way that it doesn't have to take up tons of your time. Of course, the more you put into the tasks I share with you every day, the more you're going to get out of it. And it doesn't have to take up tons of your time. It is something you can manage through your week. And the women that do get the most out of it actually plan in advance to just take a little bit of extra time for themselves every day. They might even get up half an hour or an hour earlier every morning, just so that they can listen to the daily video, do the daily task, and really participate and feel like they're actually getting value out of the week. Now, you're getting value full stop, and you don't even have to invest any money. You only have to invest your own energy and time. But to really receive full value from your time and energy, just planning your week to receive the trainings and to be in community with, I mean, I don't know exactly how many are going to join this challenge. Where we've surpassed the 200 mark at the moment. So, and we've still, and I always know in the last few days leading into the challenge, we get another 100 or 200 women join. So you're at the very least going to be in the company of at least 200 women. I mean, does that not just blow your mind? Because it feels like you're the only one when you're single, doesn't it? You're not. And especially in midlife, you feel like a really kind of rare creature to be in midlife and single. You're not. And the beauty of this challenge is you get to be in community with women just like you, with desires just like you, with worries just like you, with blocks around love, around relationship, around men, around themselves, just like you. You are not on your own. And it's really, if you've never done my 5-day challenge, I know some of you here have. Um, Karen's really looking forward to it. Awesome. Hi, Ruth. You've done the challenge a couple of times, haven't you? More than once, for sure. Women keep coming back to it because you're tweaking constantly. Like there's always energetic tweaks we can be doing. There's always growth. There's always, transformation is an ongoing, continual journey, isn't it? And this 5-day challenge, women keep coming back to it because it allows you just to go that next little layer deeper, that next little layer deeper. I've got women now doing the challenge who are in relationship, and they're still enjoying the process that I take them through, because it's that thing of I'm just going deeper. I'm like, it's all about meeting your soulmate. But let's be honest, you've got to meet your own soul first. You have to be your own soulmate first. And that's what we're doing at this challenge. And so the journey it's constant. Whether you're single or in relationship, it's actually really an appropriate space to hang out for a week and spend time with you. And like I was saying, the idea of just carving out a bit of extra time for yourself every day, what we're doing there is working the muscle of bringing the feminine into your life, that feminine energy, and creating time and space that's just for you, where you can receive yourself, where you can receive growth, learning, just spend some time in that self-inquiry, just hanging out with you, tapping into how do I feel, tapping into what do I really believe about that, tapping into what are your blocks, what is sabotaging you from having what you want. Like these 5 days it's such a powerful container to like reintroduce yourself to you and to be there for you and practice daily being there for you. There's a different meditation every day as well. There's a beautiful practice that I invite you into each day. Just to, again, like if you want to meet your soulmate or have a deeper relationship with you, tapping into your spiritual self is so important. And this is so magnetic as well. Because what we're doing in those 5 days is we're working with your energy. I'm sure you've heard me say before that calling in your soulmate doesn't have to be another thing for you to do, another thing for you to figure out, right? We're done with another thing to do and another thing to figure out, aren't we? And it's all about how can you be more present to you, and how can you align your energy so that you feel more authentically you. And when you're really tapped in with you like that, you are magnetic and things happen way more effortlessly and easily. And that's how I desire for the women in my community to approach dating. That's the experience I want you to have. I want you to feel at ease. I want you to feel in anticipation and excitement, not dread, not exhaustion, not trying to figure it out. How about let it be easy? How about allow him to come in? How about learning how to tweak your energy to be available to receive him? It could be a her that you're calling in. I always use the language him. It was my experience and it just makes it easier. If I start trying to tick all the boxes, I'll be here forever trying to be politically correct. But I'm not disrespectful of who you are calling in. Whoever you're calling in, it's all about aligning your energy. It's an energetic, vibrational piece. And I've been really reflecting. Let me take a sip of my drink first. I've been really reflecting. Just it's interesting, just the last couple of mornings, really kind of normal stuff in my relationship. Of course, with a challenge coming up, with a lot of, I'm being interviewed by a lot of people. I've got a lot of amazing other women in the women's well-being industry, other coaches, holistic practitioners, all sorts of different women who are working with midlife women are promoting the challenge for me because they really believe in my work and they've seen the power of the challenge. They've seen how women are meeting their soulmate at the end of 5 days. Like, it's pretty incredible what's happening inside this space. And so I've been having these conversations. And so, of course, it's very front of mind for me to remember what it was like for me when I was single. Because I'm sharing lots of those stories with people who are interviewing me and having all these conversations. And of course, as I'm remembering back to how I used to feel and remembering how I was a single parent for 8 years and doing it all on my own. Like, I really did it on my own. I don't even have family in this country. My family are all in Australia. So I had a little boy and I did it on my own. I built my business from scratch, from the ground up on my own, whilst single parenting, whilst adapting to being single and being a single parent. It was those early years. Oh, there was some really tough times financially, properly up against it. A lot of the time, no money in the bank, not sure how I was going to put food on the table or petrol in the car. And just having to handle everything. And I know that if you're single, particularly if you've got kids and you're working, you're running a business, you might even have elderly parents, you've got your hormonal stuff going on. Like, I know, I remember so well that feeling of, oh, I just wish someone else could handle this with me. I wish someone else could support me with this, or just make me a cup of tea. And this is what I've been reflecting on the last couple of days. Like, in the mornings, our alarm goes off early. It goes off at 5:30. And James, I mean, it's beautiful. He says, "Cup of tea, darling?" I'm like, "Yes, please." Now, I've got to be honest, hand on heart, I kind of take it for granted that he will get up and he'll go make us tea. I mean, he makes me lemon hot water now, because I've realized I don't really want to be starting. There's certain times of the month, which is right now, where my hormones are such with my perimenopause that starting the day with caffeine is not good for me, even though tea is not that heavily caffeinated, or is it? I don't know. But anything stimulating is like, no, we're not going to do that to my system. My system needs a lot of calm and gentleness. So anyway, the last few mornings, he's up and making me my lemon water. And there's just no question about it. So I lay there in bed and stretch. And my man brings me my hot drink. And the cat jumps up on my chest and starts licking my nose. And the dog comes up with James with the cup of tea, and he encourages the dog up onto the bed. So I'm there with my fur babies. I've got my dog, on my legs, and the cat on my chest, and I've got my hot drink. And he gives me a kiss good morning. And I can't believe it. Like, it's easy to take it for granted, but the last couple of days it's making my eyes well up, actually. the last couple of days, I've been in absolute deep appreciation and gratitude for what I have now. For 8 years, I woke up every morning thinking, "I wish someone could just make me a cup of tea. I wish someone could wake up my son, help me get him ready for the day. I wish someone could go put petrol in the car so I don't have to do it, or sort out the MOT, or I don't know, there's always something around the house that needed doing, and, like, just if it couldn't be me for a change. Maybe someone else could put the bins out today, or think about what shopping we need and what we're gonna cook tonight, or, you know, this mundane, normal bloody life. That was It was such a longing of mine to share that responsibility with somebody else, and to just feel that I wasn't on my own. I mean, of course, I make James cups of teas, and I do plenty around the house, and we have a really good, partnership. Bloody hell, I love him making me a cup of tea in the morning. Um, I was on my dog walk earlier this morning. I went out really early this morning because it's just stunning, beautiful weather, and the days are so long, I wanna make the most of it. And while I was on my walk, James actually called me. He's gone away today and tomorrow, and he was packing his bag this morning. He's gone away for a work thing, and he called me to ask where his shaving soap was because he was packing. And what was lovely is, like, when he asks me questions like that, or he does irritating stuff, like, he never puts his toothbrush and toothpaste back where it was, just sort of leaves it on the sink. Neither does my son, neither of them ever do. And my little daily thing is morning and evening, I move their toothbrush and toothpaste over to where it belongs. And it doesn't piss me off. It's genuinely my joy and pleasure that that's a mundane, silly little task that I do every day for my family, with my family. Um, it's like, I don't mind bringing the washing in and folding up his pants and putting them in the drawer. Like, it's a pleasure. I think because I didn't have it for so long, I'm just always really in gratitude that I have family, and that we have mess, and people have their silly little idiosyncrasies within the family. And I'm just kind of in awe that I get to experience that. Like, that's always a thing for me, and I really enjoy having that perspective. And this morning when he called me and he said, "Oh, I don't know where my shaving soap is," it didn't annoy me. I happened to have bumped into a neighbor, and she was like, "Oh, typical husbands, they never know where anything is." Yeah, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's okay." Like, it made my heart swell that he would call and ask, and then, he couldn't find the shaving soap. And I said, "Darling, how about you take," I just gave him a couple suggestions, and then I said, "And you're an adult, you'll sort it out. You'll figure it out. You don't need me." Because that's an inner joke, that, like, a little joke that we have. It's quite often he'll say to me, before we're gonna do a car trip, he'll be like, "Have you had a wee?" I'm like, "Darling, I was a single parent for 8 years. I know how to take care of myself." He asks me certain things, like, "You can take an umbrella. Do you think you should pack a jacket?" "Sweetheart, I'm an adult. I'll handle it." And that's kind of our joke. But all we're doing is just trying to take care of each other, and we have to remind each other sometimes that we're adults. But those sort of little in-jokes and ways of relating with him, I am so grateful for. I love that I have that partner in crime, and I genuinely, genuinely did not think that that was possible for me. I know some of you here listening now are like, "Oh, I've heard her say that so many times." I can't stop saying it because it was it was a visceral daily experience of, it's never gonna happen for me. Day by day, month on month, year on year, I was building more and more and more evidence and proof it's never going to happen for me. If it was, it had happened. I've got so much evidence because so much time's gone by. It's not going to happen. I genuinely was preparing myself to be single forever. And I also, side by side, hand in hand with that belief, had the other belief that went, your desires are meant for you. And because you desire it, it's on its way. Now, that was sometimes a difficult belief to tap into, and holding the faith and trust around that was challenging. And it was my spiritual growth. It was my personal growth to do that. To daily persist and have absolute determination to never, ever forget that my desires are meant for me. And even though it hadn't happened yet, to trust in divine timing. And even though I had so much evidence that relationships were shit, I'd had some shitty relationships. I'd experienced really some, yeah, I'm not going to go into all that right now, but, it had been tough. And even though I had that evidence that men can't be trusted, men let you down, it's easier on your own, like all those stories, I committed to believing that something else could be true, that something else could be available for me. And every single freaking day, and I say that feeling a lot of power in my, all through me. Every day I committed to overturning the sabotaging beliefs that were keeping love at bay, to overturning the childhood conditioning, to reconnecting with my inner child, to my spiritual practices. Like I made me my focus as a daily practice. And I was committed to, because I really believed that my person, the way he was going to come in and who he was, like the whole thing was energetic. And I knew I was the common denominator. If I wanted a better type of relationship, that was on me. I had to do the work on me to be able to attract in something wonderful, because that something wonderful would be a reflection of where I was at and what I believed about myself. And I committed to that, and it paid off. It did take longer than I thought that it would. Now, for some of you, I know there's a few of you here who've done my 5-day challenge several times. And some of you here have even worked with me privately, and it's not happened yet. And I was that woman. I'd hired the high-end coaches, and I'd done all the things, and I'd listened to all the podcasts and read all the books. And I was like, for fuck's sake, it hasn't happened yet. But you don't give up. You cannot give up on your desires. You tap back in. It will happen for you. You keep going. And apparently, just when you think you've done all the work and you've hired every coach under the sun and you've invested everything possible, time, money, energy, apparently there's a little tweak required. And it's those little subtle tweaks that are the game changers, and that you will one day reflect back on with so much pride and gratitude and understanding. Because with the perspective, you have the understanding of, well, of course he couldn't have come in because I hadn't learned that about myself, or I haven't healed that, or I hadn't owned that, or it was a divine timing thing and he was still in a relationship. He wasn't quite ready for me. It's not all about you. But we don't know what trajectory your other half is on. So trusting in that divine timing, not using that as an excuse to stop doing your own inner work, by the way, ever. You keep doing your inner work, and you never, ever expect perfection of yourself. You will never be done. Your your journey with yourself, your own evolution and growth and healing will continue until the day you die, and it will be dialed right up when you're in relationship. Okay, so it's not about being perfect, of course, but I feel like we need to be reminded of that. It is about committing to yourself every day. That's why I call it a daring and mighty act to love yourself. It's very daring and it's very mighty to choose to love yourself enough to commit to you every single day. The 5-day challenge is an opportunity to commit to you every single day and start to build a new habit of behavior where committing to you every single day is your new normal. Without that, not only is it going to be harder to call in your soulmate, but without that, you don't get to have a really empowered relationship. I have to commit to me every day to have a strong marriage. It doesn't stop just because I'm in a relationship. I have to keep committing to me. I have to keep committing to opening my heart, to being vulnerable, to allowing myself to be supported, to, all the things. Ruth has said, yes, I have so much evidence which increases on a daily basis. It's hard to believe the opposite may be true. I really, 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 really hear you. My best girlfriend who lives in Bali is another coach. She actually interviewed me yesterday on a Facebook Live. We had the most gorgeous conversation. And if you want to catch it, just go onto my personal Facebook and you'll see that I've shared a stunning, beautiful conversation. She's witnessed my journey. We've been friends for about 20 years, and she knows the tough relationships I've been through, how I came out the other side, the single parenting, meeting James. She actually helped organize my wedding in Bali because that's where they live. She's been through the whole lot with me, and we had a really gorgeous conversation yesterday about love and life and relationships. And I highly recommend you check it out. And why am I mentioning her? I've completely gone off thread. I don't remember. I have no idea what I was talking about. It's hard to believe the opposite may be true. Yes, now I remember what I was going to say. I remember back when I was single, speaking to her and my sister. They're the two that I would mostly really open up to and say, I don't like the frustration and the upset, the sadness, it's never going to happen for me. And they would look at me, and they love me so much, and they wanted so badly for me to love and be loved. And they would look at me and be like, I don't get it. You've done so much work. Like, I don't know why it's not happening for you either. But, we love you, and just hold the faith. No one had the crystal ball. No one could make me feel better. It was what it was. And now, I'm every day I'm with James, I'm so freaking grateful for the journey. I know that every single one of those days where I was so frustrated, all of that time, it was all required for me to become the woman that I needed to become to be able to show up in a relationship the way I do now. All of that time. At the time, it seemed like such a long time. Now I look back and I'm like, it's a blip of time because I've now got a lot of time with James. And but it was all needed. I couldn't be who I am without having had that time. And so I hope that's a little encouraging and a little inspiring for those of you here still single, for those of you who've done all my challenges and worked with me privately and are like, what the hell? It's still not happened. This is bullshit. I get it. I hear you. I feel you. I have been you. And all I can do now is keep reassuring you. I feel like that's such a mission of mine. And I had a handful of people in my life that were able to keep reassuring me when I was single, and it really helped me to keep going and to keep digging deep into my work. Even when I thought I'd done it all, I kept digging. And it's bloody worth that. So if you've done my 5-day challenge before, come back. Do it again next week. Be in sisterhood. Help the newbies in there. There's going to be a ton of newbies in this challenge who don't know me, don't know my work, who've never experienced this before. So come and be ambassadors for the experience. Come and lead them and support them and share what you've learned, and at the same time continue your own growth. Be in sisterhood. It's so powerful. That energy of sisterhood is incredibly magnetic. Allow the sisterhood to sort of reignite your spark, because it's very easy to lose it, right? It's very easy to just give up and to lose that kind of va-va-voom of like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this happen for me. Like I'm so committed to me. Being in this sisterhood, like let it raise your vibration, let it like reignite your spark through helping others and supporting others. That will also reignite you and like get your spark and sparkle back. So come and be in sisterhood. Allow me to coach you. Ask your questions. Come onto the lives every evening. Take part in the tasks every day. Do the meditations. Like really, you can go on with your daily life as normal. You can still do your job. You can still manage the kids. You can, it's all there for you. The challenge has been designed so that your whole life doesn't have to stop for it. You can do both. And just carve out a little bit of extra time next week for you, so you really can get the most from it. And like I said, really work that muscle of prioritizing you as a daily practice, because you need that for the rest of your life. That's, forever. We need to better do that. Anywho, my darlings, thanks for joining today. I hope to see as many of you as possible on the challenge next week. I've popped the registration link above. If you have any single girlfriends, this is for women only. If you have any single friends who you think would really get a lot from this experience, please just share the link with them, share this video with them maybe. They're so welcome. It's also fun to do it with your friends. Yeah, you can hold each other accountable, support each other through it. And those of you who are coming, I'll see you next week. How cool. Can't wait to dive deep. Maybe you'll be my next success story. Wouldn't that be nice? Love a success story. So have a beautiful rest of your day. I am now off to Pilates, and I'll see you soon. Okay. Bye, darling. Thanks for joining me for my cup of tea. See you.